to do, people to meet. We've got the whole world at our feet. At Tikkabilla, it's a wonderful place to be.
Hello!
Hello and welcome to Tikkabilla. Now, I've been collecting some boxes, big boxes and small boxes, because we're sorting out Tamba's toys and we need to tidy them away. Tamba, I've got the boxes.
Oh, thanks, Simon. Hello. Look at all these. I've got big toys and little toys, and they're all jumbled up. Will you help me to sort them out?
Right, here we are. Now then, big box and small box. Now, which toys go in which box? Let's have a look. We've got a teapot here. Where do you think that should go? Big box or small box?
Big toy, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it might go in a big box.
Think it'll fit? Do you think it'll fit? Let's have a look. Oh, yes, you're right. That goes in the big box. Oh, there's another big toy here as well. It's your beach ball.
Oh, well, it won't go in the small box, will it?
Don't think so.
Better try the big box.
Let's try it, and we'll squeeze it in and push it in there. Oh, yes, that fits as well. Oh, look, there's some toy animals here. Which box do you think they should go in, big or small?
They're very small. Shall we put them in the small box?
I think they'll fit in the small box, and they'll be nice and cosy together there as well, won't they?
Yeah.
Put them in there, and... Oh, there's a big, fluffy dog. Which box do you think this should go into?
Will he fit in the small box?
We could try. Let's try and... Oh! I don't think he's going to fit in the small box. Let's try and squeeze him into the big box. There he goes. There.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and look, there's a car. And there's your toy helicopter, Tamba.
Oh, yeah. Where should they go? I think the small box.
Do you think the small box as well? Let's try and put them in there. Yes, small toys in the small box. There we are. That's all the toys sorted.
But, Simon, what about these toys? They're too big for the small box and they're too small for the big box. They're in the middle.
You're right, Tamba.
Will this box do, Tamba? It's a middle-sized box.
Lovely.
Oh, let's see.
Now, let's see if middle-sized Ted, do you fit in there? Yes, I do. Good. In he goes. And we can put this toy will fit in that way.
What about this is your shower cap, Tamba?
Will that fit in too? Yes, there we go. We've got the big toys in the big box. We've got the middle-sized toys in the middle box. And we've got the small toys in the small box.
Great. And I should go in the small box too, because I'm the littlest.
Oh, well, you're the littlest now, Tamba. But if I were this size, you'd seem huge to me.
And although I am taller than both of you, next to the Tikkabilla house, I feel quite small.
Being big or small depends on what you're looking at. Which do you think is smaller? An elephant or a mouse?
A mouse.
And which do you think is taller? A bungalow or a house?
A house.
And which out of these two is wider? A fat bumblebee or a flea?
It's a bee.
And who do you think is bigger, you or me?
It's you, not me.
Let me explain. If I were to meet a giraffe, well, I'm sure I'd feel so tiny. But when I look at the ants on hippopotamus can make me look skinny, and that stick insect makes me look fat. Oh, well, our size depends on what we're looking at.
We're looking at. Well, sometimes I feel big,
And sometimes I feel small.
sometimes I feel short.
And then at other times I'm tall.
When I look around at my natural habitat, I can see that my size depends on what I'm looking at. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Which do you think is smaller? You or the moon in the sky? And which do you think is taller? You are a sweet butterfly. And which out of these three is bigger? Me or you or a cat? Oh, well, our size depends on what we're looking at.
We're looking at. Well, sometimes I feel big,
And sometimes I feel small.
sometimes I feel short.
And at other times I'm tall.
When I look around at my natural habitat, I can see that my size depends on what I'm looking at. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you see, Tamba, no matter how tiny you feel, there's always something smaller than you.
Now, there are some very small people in our story today. Should we have a look at the clock? Come on, then. Tikkabilla, Tokkabilla, Tikkabilla, Tock. What's the time on the Tikkabilla clock? Well, the long hand is pointing towards the number 12. Do you know what that means? That means it's something o'clock. And the short hand is pointing up to the 12 as well. So the clock says it's 12 o'clock. And in our story, strange things happen at 12 o'clock in the night. What's underneath the clock? 2 small jackets and 2 small pairs of boots. And today's story is called The Elves and the Shoemaker. Once upon a time, there was a shoemaker.
That's me. I'm the shoemaker and I make shoes.
The shoemaker worked very hard all day long.
Ah, la 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 la.
He worked much harder than that, Tamba.
Oh, sorry.
No matter how many pairs of shoes the shoemaker made, he couldn't earn enough money to make a living.
Finally, the day came when all he had left in his workshop was one small piece of leather.
Oh, I know. I'll set this leather out tonight and make it into a pair of shoes in the morning.
And with that, the shoemaker went to bed without any supper. And even though he was poor and hungry, the kind shoemaker always remained cheerful.
Ah, well, look on the bright side. There are people much worse off than me. And who knows, things might look better in the morning.
When the shoemaker woke up, to his astonishment, on the work table stood a fine pair of shoes, already made and sewn.
What a fine pair of shoes! But who could have made them?
At that moment, a very fine gentleman entered the workshop. Oh, what a splendiferous pair of shoes! I simply must have them. I'll pay you twice as much as they're worth. Okay.
Oh, wowee! I've got enough money here to get some dinner and to buy 2 pieces of leather. Ha ha!
So that night, the shoemaker put out 2 pieces of leather. And when he woke up in the morning...
Wowee! There's 2 pairs of lovely shoes.
Just then, a beautiful princess happened by. Oh, excuse me, little purple shoemaker. I was wondering if these shoes were for sale. They're brilliant, aren't they? I'll give you loads of money for them.
Oh, thanks. Oh, wowee! Now I've got enough money for dinner, pudding, and some left over for 4 pieces of leather. Ha ha!
Every night, the shoemaker left out some pieces of leather, and every morning there were lots of pairs of lovely shoes.
The shoemaker became very well known and very wealthy. Then, one cold night...
Guess what? Tonight I'm going to keep awake and hide so I can find out who keeps making these shoes for me.
And with that, the shoemaker left out some leather and then hid in the shadows. Then, at 12 o'clock in the night, 2 tiny elves crept into the workshop. Through the cold, through the night, let us work till early light.
They took the pieces of leather and started to work.
Sew and stitch, keep awake, until a pair of shoes we make.
The shoemaker watched them hour after hour as they worked, right through the night, until he fell asleep. When the shoemaker woke up, there were 4 pairs of beautiful shoes.
Ah, so those tiny elves are the ones making the shoes for me. Wowee! But didn't they look cold in their little vests and pants? If only there was something I could do to help. I know! Ha!
And with that, the shoemaker set to work. He made 2 tiny jackets and 2 tiny pairs of boots that were snug and warm. And that night, he left the coats and the boots on the worktop and hid in the shadows to watch.
And sure enough, at exactly 12 o'clock in the night, the 2 little elves crept in once more. When they saw the jackets and boots, they jumped for joy.
And with their warm coats on and their snug boots, the tiny elves danced out of the workshop and were never seen again.
Ah, did you see that? Wowee!
And from that day on, the shoemaker was happy and contented and made the finest shoes in all the land.
But however wealthy the shoemaker became, he never forgot the 2 tiny elves.
Bye-bye, kind and clever elves.
The end! Well done, Tamba.
Hey,
Very
you were
good.
great shoemaker, Tamba. The elves aren't the only ones who are good at making things. I wonder what Bunny, Banana and Mo are up to.
Bunny, banana,